Hello Giddy knitters, and welcome to day 12 of Vlogmas. So today we are doing some Christmas baking. So we're going to be baking a Christmas pudding and also a whiskey Dundee cake. Excuse the background noise, I think Arthur has just returned from a birthday party. I will talk you through the recipes that we're doing and hopefully we'll have some cakes by the end of the day. Merry Christmas. Okay, so here's our paraphernalia for starting off. So we're going to be doing the Christmas pudding first. So I've already got my fruit over here, various bits of fruit in there. We have sultanas, raisins, figs, peel, apricots, and some cherries as well, and of course a generous helping of brandy. That's been steeping overnight, and now we just need to mix it with all these other ingredients. We've got some suet and flour, we've got sugar, we've got breadcrumbs, eggs, and we've also got an orange, very Christmassy, and of course an apple. You can't have a Christmas pudding without an apple. I use the recipe from, I've forgotten his name. Here it is. Nigel Slater. So I'll link that in the description, or more accurately, Helen will link that in the description because it is also on the Guardian website, so we can just link to that. But let's get mixing.
Merry Christmas, baby. Reindeer's coming out to play. Santa Claus is packing the presents, making sure you've been behaving okay. Merry Christmas, honey. Yeah. The snowman's dusting off his hat, putting on the show for everybody, to give them a smile that lasts another year. There's something.
Okay, and there we have it. All mixed, all nice and juicy, smelling wonderfully fragrant with the orange zest in there. So this is now ready to go. We just need to try and remember how to tie up a Christmas pudding. And then we need to steam it for, I don't know, like 12 hours or something. That's not accurate. I need to double check how long it is, but it's a good few hours. But yeah, I need to remember how to tie it up first.
Merry Christmas, baby. The snow is laying 2 feet deep. Now wish upon a falling star, so all your secret dreams can come true. There's something that happens when sleigh.
Okay, so that's the Christmas pudding on to steam. I'll give you a quick shot of it there. There you go. So that's going to steam away for about 3 hours, as I said. So meanwhile, we are going to get cracking on the whiskey Dundee cake. So the recipe that I'm using for this is this one over here. It is from the infamous, well, maybe not infamous, but famous, if I could work out how to use a camera. There we go. Delia Smith's Christmas. Classic Christmas recipe book. It is basically a Dundee cake, a regular kind of Dundee cake, and you add whiskey to it to make it extra yummy. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so here we are, ready to start making our Dundee cake. So for those of you not well versed in Dundee cakes, it's basically like a light fruit cake. So it's quite a good alternative at Christmas for those who don't like the kind of rich, dark Christmas cakes. You can make something like a Dundee cake instead. So what we've got here, so it's a very basic kind of recipe. It's just this basic creaming method. So what we've got here is just butter and brown sugar, and so we're going to beat that up, start creaming that, and then gradually add the eggs. So cue the music, Helen. Right, so we've got the butter and sugar in here. I've also added in just mixed in the flour as well. And it needs to be a soft dropping consistency. So also add a little dash of milk if you need to get it to the right consistency, which I've just done. If it's too wet, then your fruit will sink down to the bottom. I'm just going to add in some zest of this lemon. And like Dundee cakes are, they have quite a special place in my heart because I love a Dundee cake. And we don't actually make Dundee cakes very often, despite living in Dundee. And Dundee cakes are quite special for me because when I was a child, also not living in Dundee ironically, my mother would always make a Dundee cake. My memory is that she made them at least every week, sometimes twice a week, because there was always a Dundee cake in the tin, but probably it was not quite as often as that. So a Dundee cake is quite a special thing, and whenever she comes to visit, my mother still often will bring a Dundee cake all the way up from Cornwall in the back of the car, which is a marvellous experience to have a Dundee cake. So we're adding in a zest of a lemon here, and then we also need to add in some almonds, ground almonds, to give a slight moisture to the finished cake. So I don't want to grate my finger, that won't be very tasty. There we go, that's our lemon. And then, yeah, so the ground almonds, when you're baking cakes generally, ground almonds could be quite useful to make the cake slightly more moist. Helen's come to invade the scene to critique my very bad camera design because like my head is poking out the top all the time. But sadly that's just the height of the thing that you're on. So I'm just going to add in 2 tablespoons of the ground almonds to add a nice almondy flavour to the cake and also a slight bit of moisture. It's the best thing about a Dundee cake, other than the nostalgia attached to it for myself, is that on the top you cover it in whole blanched almonds and then they go all nice and toasty and crispy in the oven. So we've got those in there. We just need to add in the fruit, which has been steeping in whiskey overnight to make it extra Christmassy, and then it'll be ready to go into the oven.
So all your secret dreams can come true. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December is, when the children are singing, yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Ooh, yeah. There's room at the table for big and for small. All the fire is popping, the chestnuts are cracking, yeah. Merry Christmas, baby. There's something that happens when something that happens when December ends, when December ends, yeah. Oh, it's Merry Christmas, baby. Merry
Right, so that's the cakes in cooking. So strangely enough, they'll actually end up finishing around the same time because one takes 3 hours and one takes about 2 hours. So hopefully they'll finish at similar times. But I thought this was a good opportunity to sit down and share with you a fact of the day. So since we've been baking various things today, including a Christmas pudding, I thought I would share with you a fact that I've discovered about Christmas puddings. So the fact that I'm going to share with you today is that even though a Christmas pudding is often referred to as a plum pudding, Christmas puddings throughout their history have never really called for plums or had plums in them. Plum is a more general term for various forms of dried fruits that were often used in Christmas puddings in different varieties and types, but not actually plums themselves, always the kind of dried fruits instead. And that, as Arthur would say, is a fact.